What's up, Twitch and YouTube? It's MurphyD55 coming to you with another episode of Around the Gjallarhorn. And today we are privileged to have my guy DEKESTER22, one of my favorite Twitch streamers out there, a fellow Canadian representing the East Coast, coming through to talk a little bit of football, a little bit about his journey on Twitch, and you know, whatever the heck we decide to talk about along the way. Just have a nice in-depth conversation and see what's going on over there in Boomer Society. So first and foremost, Deekster, thank you so much for coming to be on Around the Gjallarhorn. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Love the show. Love what you're doing. It's really getting some momentum behind it. You got some great guests on here every week and just some good topics. So yeah, I love the show and so honored to be on here and be asked. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Murph.
My pleasure, and I do appreciate the kind words. You know, I was looking through on YouTube the other day, and I'm just thinking, you know, how amazing is it to be able to collaborate with so many great content creators? Because Twitch is a platform, you know, it's a platform for video games and stuff like that, but really the thing that kind of you know, stands out is the relationships you make along the way, the friendships you make along the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and something that I never was really aware of when I first started streaming, but definitely that's what I kind of value above everything else now is the community and the relationships. And I know, you know, just for anybody who spends even a little bit of time in your channel, that comes across that you're definitely a community guy. You've got one of the most interesting communities and one of the most supportive communities out there. And we'll talk a little bit about Boomer Society, but the first thing that I wanted to ask you about, if you could tell me a little bit about, you know, where you're from, where you're at now, and maybe a little bit about the East Coast lifestyle, because I know you're out there on the East Coast. What province are you in, Deke?
So I'm in Nova Scotia. So that's pretty much almost as far east as you can get. You know, Newfoundland might have a nose on us, but it's pretty close. So the Eastern Shore, you know, on the Atlantic Ocean. Different time zone than Murph, you know, so that gets confusing. I was almost an hour late tonight when I realized, oh crap, that's right, Murph's not on my time, same country, different time zone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't strayed too far. I was born and raised in Nova Scotia. I was born and raised in this town, Murph, and didn't go very far, and even didn't really leave the area very far. I ended up getting to some family land and built a house on that, and been here now for 20 years. And you know, happily married, very happily married, very fortunate to be married to Tanya. And we have a son who's just turned 18. He's in his first year of university. And that's an adjustment. That's a huge adjustment.
Yeah, that's right. Being kind of the first steps of, I guess, being an empty nester, which is I know it's not an easy thing. But I did notice a strapping young man walking behind your stream setup earlier. Is he back home for
He
for
is.
a
So
little bit?
it is what they call reading week or the spring break, if you will. But it'll be short-lived as he's taking off tomorrow morning up your way, up to Ottawa, and with a friend of his, and to visit a couple other friends for a few days. So he's excited about that.
Nice, yeah, and it's you know, I've even seen your son. He's you know, been involved in the stream too, and I've seen your wife come on and play some solos from time to time. Like, how important is it to kind of bring your family into the Twitch experience, or you know, your kind of pastime that you do when you're not working? Like, how important is it to get them involved, in your opinion?
It is. It's a lot of fun, and like we don't do as much as we used to, and we spoke of that. Tanya and I both spoke of that about getting back on. And if things wouldn't have happened that happened at the end of the year, you know, the plan was for her and I to do a New Year's Eve stream again, because that was a lot of fun last year.
Yeah.
And with Junior coming on and such, I mean, he's just gotten super busy. I mean, if he's not doing his studies, then he's at the CrossFit gym. So, you know, it's tough for him. You know, he's still, you know, the one thing I do like. He's got a lot to go, but he's still a fan of the show. And when things were going tough there at the year end, he was even telling me he was missing the stream too. So that meant a lot. That really meant a lot. So,
yeah, and definitely, like, there was you know, a period there where you did take some time off from streaming, and I will say, even me personally, it's a place where, you know, I talked about this the other day, I think, after we came in with another post podcast raid guided by Big Cap. He said he wanted to go see your stream, so I was like, we're sending it to Deke. You know, it's a place where, like, I'll be in there just hanging out. Like, the first time I ever came into your stream, I was welcomed in with the big raid siren, and you know, you always make a show, and you always make people feel appreciated that come by to visit, you know, and I think, you know, it's kind of like this little hidden corner of Twitch that not a lot of people might know about, but the people that do know about it, they keep coming back over and over again.
Yeah, we do have a faithful bunch. I got to say, I'm blessed with that. We a very, very faithful group, and we have a boatload of fun and laughs. We truly do. I mean, if you're coming to you know, learn the nuances of Madden,
Yeah.
Ultimate Team is not the stream or show for you.
Yeah.
If you're coming to hang out and have some fun, if you like music, and if you like just playing and watching Madden, sure,
Yeah.
and we try to bring in some real life sports. And congratulations to you. Speaking of that, congratulations to you, my friend, moving on to the Sports Accelerator
Oh,
program.
I
That's
appreciate
fantastic.
that. Thank you so
Yeah,
much, Deke. I
I'm
really
really looking
appreciate
forward to
it.
that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
seen that
I
today. I
mean,
was really pleased. Yeah,
thank you so much, man. That means a lot.
no,
It's kind of a cool opportunity that kind of popped up, literally from like responding to a tweet. Like
hmm
it's one of those things. It's the new world. You're not sending out resumes in person anymore. Like I'm responding to
yeah,
tweets and then going off of that. But it's kind of a cool thing. And I'm a big sports fan. I know you're a big sports fan, and it's something
yeah,
that a new kind of journey, because one of the things that I find is really important is just being able to always try new stuff and never get stagnant or stale. And
right. That's the key. Yep,
yeah, it just keeps things
yep,
fun and keeps things fresh,
yep,
and it's for me and for the community too. So we'll see where that journey goes. But
yeah. You're
pop,
going to do great. Yeah,
I appreciate that, man. And who knows what that's going to look like. That's something I got to figure out.
mm,
It's been a busy couple weeks just trying to plan everything out, but there's plenty of time for that. No, nothing worth rushing for.
no,
SLG coming in with the sub. Thank you so much, SLG. Another great community member coming through, means a lot. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of ask you about, or for maybe for you to enlighten the chat, the first time that we ever met was kind of interesting. It was in Roy McCracken's stream, and Roy was one of the first streamers that I really watched on Twitch. Outside of the Madden Live guys, the drop streams. I was
yeah.
just a drop ghoul when I first started out. And do you remember that first interaction that we had?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
want to tell the chat a little bit about your version of the story? I guess.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we were in, and I don't know if who was in there first, but we met in the stream, and you were, very chatty in the chat, and I was as well. And then I think Roy made notation that we both were from Canada, and we were talking about that and stuff, and we were talking about favorite teams and such, and then we got into football, and
Yeah.
I think talking about
Yeah.
coaching. And
Yeah.
then we found out, we discovered that Junior would go to local university to a football
Yeah.
camp every summer,
Yeah.
and for 4 years in a row. And the coach he had, the head coach there at that camp, was the same high school coach you
Yeah.
had, Coach Gary Waterman.
That's right. Yeah.
So it
Absolutely.
was really like there's some pictures on the wall back there of Coach Gary and Drew.
No
So
way.
it's
Oh, that's
yeah.
so cool. That's
So it
awesome.
was really really neat that how small the world is, that we both had this one person in common, because
Yeah.
I mean you agreed he's a fantastic man. He's
Oh
a
yeah.
fantastic man.
100%.
He's a great coach,
Yeah.
yeah, it was really neat when we found that out. So that you and Junior
Yeah.
both share the same coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think when I first kind of realized, that you must have been Canadian, it was because I think Roy was in his Heinz Field dressing room setup, where he's got like the
Oh
sports
yes,
desk.
that's right.
He's got Heinz Field, and then I saw Deekster in the chat, and I didn't know who Deekster was at the time,
Yeah.
but he was like, "Oh, is that the Hamilton Tiger Cats dressing room?" And I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, this has got to be a Canadian." So I instantly appreciated that,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
we kind of made that other connection there. But yeah, it's amazing. Like I'm glad to hear that he had a good experience with Coach Waterman. He was somebody that I only played football for 3 years of high school, but it's amazing the impact that coaching can have on a kid's life. Like for
Oh.
them, they see hundreds, thousands of students in their career, and then they
Mm-hmm.
make relationships with all those students. But it's
Yeah.
amazing the ability to make a lasting impression on somebody that to this day, I probably haven't talked to him since high school, to be honest, but I'm still very grateful for what he was able to impart during my short time playing football.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I still got to this day a lot of letters and a lot of things from kids I coach, and it just means the world to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it really moves. It really does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Deke, maybe you could talk a little bit about that coaching experience. So what is your coaching background, I guess? Can you tell us
So
about
I
that?
mean, I decided, it started when I was moving into high school in the grade 10. So I left the middle school. It was a split, so it was a brand new high school we had to go to, a much bigger school.
Yeah.
And I decided, like, I liked my head coach in middle school so much that I asked him if he needs some help the following year. I played high school basketball, and I also volunteered to help him,
Yeah.
with some stuff. And he said, absolutely, no problem. You come back. And that's my first coaching start. I started coaching
Yeah.
my middle school coach. And then after school, go to school when I was younger, I started to coach some kids softball and kids basketball. And
Yeah.
then actually, my best friend, he played university ball, and he got into the teaching field like as you do. And he started a program every spring for kids and take it to the hoop. And we ran that for like 5 or 6 years. And then it got kind of quiet. And then that's
Yeah.
when Junior came along. And then, yeah, it was like, so like there was a couple years there where I was the hockey coach, and the basketball coach and the baseball coach, and then football came
Wow.
along 2012. Yeah, and 2012, 2013, there was always something being coached for the whole year
Yeah.
because there was two hockeys. There was a winter hockey and then spring hockey.
Yeah. That's a full
So yeah,
schedule. That's
yeah, it was, and
yeah.
that was the year too that actually we had TSN down here. I actually got on TSN.
Oh, is it
So that was
hometown hockey? Did they do it out your way, or was
no,
it
it
no?
was actually this was the craft celebration tour. So you
Yeah.
put in a bid for what you needed improved, and we needed our football field improved. We needed it
Yeah.
improved really bad, and we won, and they
Yeah.
came down and was a big event. It was a lot going on
Yeah.
that week. So and they were actually down here twice. They came down again and did a story on our president who just
Yeah.
passed away last year. Rest in peace, Gary.
Yeah.
And yeah, he did a special on him. I got to talk on TSN again, so it was pretty neat.
That's
So
incredible.
yeah, I've been on TSN twice for coaching football. So
Oh my gosh, that's
yeah,
amazing. Do you have like reels or clips of those saved? Like, did you record them
oh
or
yeah,
anything
yeah.
like that?
There's a lot of them. And actually, the one I'll send you the link because I think you
Yeah,
enjoy
please.
it because we still get teary eyed when we watch it.
Yeah.
The one where they did a special on Gary Linthorne, our president,
Yeah.
uh, and we were the team that they were following that day, and they did a really good job. It's on YouTube. It's actually on
Okay.
YouTube,
I gotta check
and
that
I'll
out for
send you the link.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was really good.
Oh, that's awesome. It's kind of incredible, like these memories that are kind of forged through sports,
Mm,
and getting involved and going out there and doing something for your community. And it sounds like you had a full schedule, like, but at the same
yeah,
time, you're coaching your son's teams too, so that's like a lot of quality time that
yeah,
some parents might miss out on. So you got to be grateful for the opportunity to spend all that extra time
yeah.
with him.
And that's what happened with the high school coaching gig. Like it would have Drew made a conscious decision. He followed his basketball roots
Yeah.
with when he went to high school, so
Yeah.
he didn't go to football route.
Yeah.
So if I would have coached the football team, I had to pass it up because I would have messed up in a lot because the seasons overlapped. So I thought,
Yeah.
I'm not willing to do that. So and I ended up doing a little basketball coaching too. But
Yeah. Nice.
yeah, no, it's definitely. I recommend anyone gets the opportunity. I know we have quite a few in our community that do coach, and yeah, highly recommend. I think you, Murphy, you did some coaching too,
Yeah,
didn't you?
I,
You were
I,
coaching
I
this
do
year,
a little
yeah,
bit of coaching. Yeah, it's
yeah,
unfortunate, like, because with COVID going on and all the new protocols we have in our schools, like that there really hasn't been elementary school level or even high school in Toronto, as far as I know, because Toronto's kind of like one of the hotbeds of it. But there hasn't really been sports going on for the last 2 years. So
yeah,
like I'm finding
it's
myself,
terrible.
I'm like, wow, why do I have so much free time on my hands? Normally I'm
Yeah,
so busy, but now I'm like, it's because I'd be coming in before school or staying after school or on my lunch hour coaching sports. I would normally do, basketball, which I'm actually not a very good basketball coach. I'll fully admit. I'm good at teaching people, hard work and stuff like that. But as far as like running plays and stuff, I'm terrible at basketball. But I'll coach volleyball.
yeah,
I'll do track and field. I always
yeah,
try to do at least a couple different sports to keep me busy throughout the year. And it's a good way to
that's
kind
awesome.
of, I'm a kindergarten teacher, so it's a good way to kind of interact and get to know the kids in the older
Hmm.
grades, because I kind of find I'm just in this little pod with 4 and 5 and 6 year olds. I don't really get to know a lot of the actual older kids, unless I've taught them
Hmm.
before. So I'm definitely missing out on that. Hopefully next year, it sounds like a lot of things in March are going to be changing here, a lot of the mandates and all
Yeah,
that stuff. So hopefully when we go
yeah,
back to school next year,
yeah.
because I think it's so important for kids to have that outlet.
Oh,
Especially kids, even in an underprivileged neighborhood where there's not a lot of programs offered outside of school. School's their one
hmm,
shot to kind of, get
yeah,
active and build those healthy, those healthy kind of habits.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
fingers crossed for that.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're really excited too. One of the boys I had with me the whole way up through in football, he's actually at the University of Virginia playing right now.
Oh wow.
So yeah, he was their blue chip recruit last year. So we're looking forward to watching him. And last year he's behind a 4-year starter, so he
Yeah.
had to wait his turn. But this year is his year. He should get the bump to starter. So we're really excited about that.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
real good
exciting.
kid. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
always good to see people that come through kind of your program and
yeah,
follow their careers. And
yeah.
I think, we might have talked about this at some point too, that I had a couple guys that I went to high school with that ended up, having pretty long, fulfilling CFL careers. Enoch Mwamba, who's still playing for the Argonauts now. He came back home finally after playing out in Winnipeg for a few years. you know, it's kind of cool. You always want to root for those guys. You know, I didn't necessarily have the athletic talent to do it, but it still means, you know, it's kind of cool saying, you know, I had a little bit of something to do with that guy making it to where he is today.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but for me, in my opinion, I think it was that I made him look so much better because I would just not make any tackles, and he would come in from safety and wipe up the field, all the guys that I let get through. So I like to think that was my contribution.
I don't think that's probably not true. I figure you held your own, big guy. Yeah.
I appreciate it. But, you know, Deke, one of the things you mentioned, you know, East Coast hospitality, you know, you've made it very known that, you know, if me or the boys are out there, you love the idea of being able to meet up with people.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Have
Awesome.
you had a chance to like meet up with anybody from Twitch in real life yet?
I haven't been jealous a lot of times. Been jealous a
Yeah.
lot of times. You know, the recent trip with you know, Retro Yimmy
Yeah.
and JT went down to Louisiana.
Yeah.
Now I am going to get that. We're going to get a little bit of luck. We are going to see JG603. We've been invited to his wedding.
Nice. Oh,
So
that's incredible.
yeah.
That's
So yeah,
incredible.
we're looking forward to that. Where I believe we're going to see a couple other streamers there as well.
Yeah.
And we never ruled it out. We always Tanya and I always talk about a Twitch tour, if you will. But it's
Yeah.
tough up here. I know there's a trip to Las Vegas this year planned, and you know it was some kind of grief given to me for not jumping on there. That's tough.
Yeah.
You know, when you're way up
Yeah.
in Nova Scotia, it's tough to commit to a trip to Las Vegas.
It is. You're literally on the opposite corner of the of the
Yeah, like
continent.
we're not in the southwestern United States or even the southern United States. Like it's a big commitment. It's a
It
big
is.
price tag. And
Absolutely.
we got a couple family vacations that we had to cancel because of this. You know, I'll call it stuff because we're on your stream.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it something else.
You can call it whatever you want, Deke. It's all good.
Yeah,
you got a bleep
we
button
lost
for that.
the Disney trip, and we like to go south. We save up to go south every winter, and we lost 2 of those. So yeah. We got a vacation for the family come up too, so we got to figure that in.
Yeah,
and hopefully,
absolutely.
like you said, hopefully things start opening up and travel a little better.
For sure, and you know it's been cool. Like you know, I've been able to meet a couple guys like Adam and Luch, like who are local guys who live around here, and there seem to be a lot of streamers in the Toronto area. I don't think I've met another streamer from Nova Scotia yet. I think you're the first streamer that I've come across. I'm sure they are out there, but maybe not necessarily in the Madden directory where I kind of like to spend my time. But you know, you mentioned a kitchen party. That's a term that you said. You said you have a kitchen party. Oh my gosh, Stony05 coming through with 61 people and a massive host. Thank you, Stony. Appreciate you, my friend. Stony was on the podcast just a couple weeks ago. He did the Northern with all the XHG guys.
Yeah, so that was really good. That was a great episode.
Hey,
yeah,
Stony,
that was great.
Appreciate you. But what exactly is a kitchen party? Because that's a term that I haven't heard of, like out in Ontario.
Well, that's what I started calling the Friday night stream way back when I started. It was a Friday night kitchen party, and then it kind of just went to, you know, got a different name all its own.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, in the Maritimes, we get the kitchen party is a term for getting together on any night. You know, Friday night, Saturday, you get together and you have a kitchen party because it never goes much further than the kitchen. You can have the most beautiful, great room or most beautiful living room in the world. But for whatever reason here in the Maritimes, you start in the kitchen and you don't go any further.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's everyone. That's, you know, the husbands, the wives, and it just ends up being a kitchen party. Next thing you know, there's a set of spoons out and someone's playing the spoons.
That's a very East Coast thing right there. That's hilarious. I love that. You know, Deke, we that's a very good point. You know, we don't call it that per se. Like we never would call it a kitchen party, but my wife and I always observe. We used to do a Christmas party every single year. Like, you know, it was like a couple weeks before Christmas. We'd have all our friends out. A lot of people were living in Toronto at the time. A lot of people since COVID have kind of moved outwards now. Like, there's not really many of our friends still in the city, but you know, you're right about that. Like, we had a small condo that we first lived in. The kitchen was just like a little galley kitchen, like super small, but if we had 20 people over, there were 20 people trying to wedge themselves in around that kitchen. I don't know what it is. There's much more comfortable places to sit, but people love being around. I guess it's because it's close to the fridge,
kitchen,
close to the drinks. That's probably the main reason. Yeah, but I would love to experience a down east kitchen party.
It'd be fantastic to have you guys down. It'd be fantastic.
For
like
sure.
I said, you know, and to see the pictures on Twitter, they're awesome. Like, it would. I mean, I can't imagine how much fun it'd be to hang out, like, you know, with Tiger Jet and Casio and Swift Wheels and Game. Those are guys that met up with you. I mean, how much fun that would be. I mean, I just, you know, someday for sure. I mean, like someday just to pack up and just, you know, plot on a map. We're going to stop in this state. We're going to stop in that state. And we're going to stop here. And we talk about it because I think, you know, it's something we really want to do with pending retirement, you know, coming.
100%.
Not for a while, but.
Yeah, that's an exciting thing to plan for. You know, both my parents retired in the last few years. I'll tell you what, Deke, you got a lot going on. I think you'll have no problem adjusting to a retired lifestyle. You know, it can be an adjustment for many. You know, I thought my mom was going to have like a hard time because she was all about work, but No, she loves it. It's pretty nice to be able to kind of be
Yeah,
in charge
yeah,
of your own time, and
yeah.
hopefully that means maybe a couple more streams sprinkled in there too along the way.
I definitely think so for sure. I definitely think
Yeah,
so. I mean, I'm gonna jack up everything a little bit
yeah,
more. All my hobbies,
yeah,
gardening and getting supplies. I love to garden. That's just
yeah.
if I don't like garden, I go cuckoo. It's my therapy. So, and
Oh,
that's
let's go.
we're starting planning that right now. I mean, it's this is the month we start planning. And ordering the seeds and what we're gonna put in the garden
Yeah,
and get things that way. So yeah.
that's
So
awesome.
looking forward to it. I mean, we got 5 years to go, but I like to plan things, and so I'm on a 5-year plan for retirement just to make sure all the boxes are checked and
Yeah,
everything's looked at. Because yeah, I got a problem when it comes for plans.
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
planning
No,
everything.
5 year plan sounds pretty good. That's
Yeah,
yeah. I'm on the month to month plan right now, just trying to
here you
figure out
go.
how to
Yeah,
get through. But it's
yeah.
no, that's awesome, Deke. And it's funny that you mentioned gardening too, and who would have thought that we'd be having horticultural talk here on a podcast? But like that's one thing that I did landscaping for a lot of years, and my grandfather, who passed away on Boxing Day a few years ago
Mm,
now, at 94, he lived a very good life. But
yeah.
he was huge into gardening and kind of passed on a lot of that knowledge to me. And at the time,
Hmm.
I was always rolling. I did not love gardening. I was not a fan. I was like his manual labor when I was out there doing it. But I realized like yeah, as I get older, like there is something to be said for it. Like what kind of stuff do you guys have like on your property? Like what kind of plants
So
do you guys take care of?
we're blessed. Like we do. I mean, we're not a ranch or anything, but we do
Yeah.
have 12 acres, so we got all kinds of room.
Wow.
And it just now that the coaching is over, it's
Yeah.
just the garden started getting in the high drive again. So I'm starting to make more garden plots each year. I keep adding to it.
Yeah.
And what I used to do before the coaching days, before actually I was married, uh, I was growing giant pumpkins. And
Yeah.
that was huge back in the '90s. I
Yeah.
actually grew the third biggest one in the East Coast back in 2000.
Oh
So it was a
wow.
700-pound squash. So that was a big day. It was a lot of
Oh,
fun. Yeah. So
that's
Howard, I don't know
incredible.
if you know Howard Dill. He's the big
Yeah.
grower here in the East Coast, and to spend the day with him, and he has his like little secret room where they have
Yeah.
the competition. He has a secret
Yeah.
room. You go back and you have a couple drinks with him, and
Yeah.
and
That's
it was really
awesome.
cool. So to take that third place and get the trophy, I can remember
Yeah.
telling the town crier gave us the prizes,
Yeah.
and I told him to keep the check, just give me the plaque. I want the plaque, and it
That's
still hangs in
amazing,
my
Deke.
office.
That's so cool. Oh my
Yeah,
God. Is there,
yeah.
please tell me there's a picture somewhere of you beside it for scale. Is
Oh
there a
yeah,
picture of you
yeah.
with
There
that
is. Yeah.
prize pumpkin? That's
Yeah, there
unreal.
is. There's. I think I showed it on stream, but I can
Yeah.
definitely. I'll show it on some stream and there's also the one that I really cherish the most. Is a picture of myself and Howard Dill, and he passed
Yeah.
away here a few years ago. But he was the king of giant pumpkins, and he was also a big proponent for hockey in this area. And some
Yeah.
say, that his property had the first ice hockey game in Canada.
Wow.
But there's
That's
also a spot
amazing.
up your way that argues and say, no, you guys did. So
That's funny.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I kind of have fond memories. Like it's weird because I don't really follow the NHL really for the last 20 years. Like it's kind of bizarre as a Canadian to not really follow the NHL at all. Like a lot of my friends do, but I think it might have been like the 2000 lockout or something like that when Vince Carter was in Toronto, and I really got into basketball. They shared the same season, and might have kind of switched gears to that. But I do have fond memories of playing. I played house league. I was never a great hockey player. I played till I was 12 though, and my entire life was
nice.
about hockey. As all Canadian, it seems like all
Hmm.
Canadian kids, their life is all about
Hmm.
hockey. But
Hmm.
one of the things that we always did in the wintertime, when it got like into the deep January, February, we'd make our own rink out there. The dads
Oh,
in the league would all get out there, get the board set up, flood the rink, go out there and be
yeah,
freezing
so
cold.
much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we get in an extra. Normally we played on Sunday mornings. It was an outdoor rink, but like it had the piping underneath it. That was our
Hmm.
main rink. And then Saturday nights we'd get to go or Saturday during the day we get to do those extra games on the man-made rink. Not
Yeah,
necessarily as smooth of an experience, but still like a lot of
yeah,
fun and
yeah,
kind of
for
vintage
sure.
Canadiana.
Yeah.
But yeah, Deke, I wanted to ask you another thing because you got an amazing man cave there and a lot of memorabilia, and you've already kind of started, talking about different pieces that you have that mean a lot to you.
Yeah.
When did you start kind of putting together this incredible man cave? How long ago? How long has it been in the
So
works?
this stuff all started like their stuff here is still in the packages, from back when I was in high school.
Yeah,
So mom would, buy me stuff for Christmas, whatever. And I always knew whatever happened, I always knew someday I wanted to have my own bar in wherever I lived.
yeah,
And so just started saving then. And like, it kind of, each wall has a theme, if you will, as you go around the room down here. And there's even an Elvis wall over by the bar itself.
wow,
Yeah, we stole that
amazing.
idea from there's a restaurant in Gotham. Jack Astor's. And
Yeah.
Jack Astor's always had one table in each restaurant where it was surrounded by Elvis stuff. It was the Elvis table where you go and sit there, and it was always nice. So Tanya had the ideas. I'm a big Elvis fan.
Yeah.
Always been a big Elvis fan. And Tanya said, that's what you used to do in your bar. And we were building the house. She said, why don't you have an Elvis wall? You got all kinds of Elvis memorabilia. So that's what I did. And it's one wall over there by the bar, right where I serve drinks, and it's just all Elvis stuff.
That's incredible.
Albums and posters and pictures, and like it's in a sealed bag. It's my mom got it for my birthday the year Elvis died. It's an actual magazine on with funeral pictures and all that stuff from 1977. So it's
wow, that's incredible. A lot of amazing stuff there, and it is kind of cool. Like, do you ever find there's stuff on the wall that you've forgotten about? Like, do you ever walk through and just like look and you're like, oh wow, like what is this? Like it's been you know
for sure. Yeah.
That's pretty
and
cool.
People get generous too. Like I know, like a lot of people just know I have this room, and the next thing they go somewheres and they'll bring something back. If they go to like the big baseball Hall of Fame, they'll bring something back. Or they go to a game. Like I got a terrible towel hanging up over there in my fridge. I mean, I can't stand the Steelers. Sorry, Roy. I love you, Roy. Steelers causes a lot of angst, but someone brought me a terrible towel from a fucking game in Pittsburgh. I'm gonna put it up in my room for sure.
Absolutely.
I owe that respect, and it does. It hangs on my fridge door. Actually, it looks really nice on there. So people have been really nice too, helping out and giving me stuff, and it's taking on a whole personality of its own.
Oh, that's awesome. And one of the things that you can't help but noticing is that obviously you're a big time Patriots fan. You see the big fat head up on the wall there. It looks like the big helmet. You got the Brady jersey draped over there. So how did you become a Patriots fan? How long have you been a Patriots fan? And is that like the go-to team on the East Coast? Because I know you're not too far from there.
Yeah, it sort of is, and I'll tell you why it sort of is, but it's not the reason I was. So again, it seems weird, but 1980 is when I started cheering for the Patriots. And so I'm like 14, right? So and that's when I really, really started hardcore following the NFL because, and I mentioned this on stream before too, like growing up until we were 14, we only had 2 fucking channels. Yeah. We had 2 channels, all we had. We had no cable. And they were Canadian channels. Yeah. So what we got, and I absolutely loved it, and I still watch it and follow it, the CFL. Yeah. Still to this day. Sure. But back then, I was a BC Lions fan. I'm still a Lions fan. The Lions got a little wall here too. Yeah. And I was a BC Lions fan. All my time was watching that because you got to remember, you can still we get the Super Bowl that was always brought in, every year for us. But other games, playoff games were too. I shouldn't say that playoff games were, but like regular season games, we couldn't watch them. And in 1980, it wasn't easy getting information. You got it by the radio if you catch it in time, during a newscast, or you got the next day in the paper. No line. I know a lot of people don't realize that, and it seems foreign to them, but it wasn't nothing at our fingertips. Nothing. And we couldn't get it on late night sports because we didn't have late night sports. TV signed off at 11. That was it. So,
and then you get the rainbow bars like show up.
Then the rainbow bars, right on. Wow. Yeah, you got it, Murph. You got it, Murph.
That's
so.
Crazy.
Then in 1980, we got cable TV, and then really watching that, got to see the difference in the games. I mean, let's be honest. CFL is great. I love it, but there's a difference in the games. Yeah. So that's when really became a big time fan following. I had to make a choice, and at that time, it was really cool to be a Steelers fan or, a Dolphins fan. Yeah. And there were some Patriots fans around here because the cable station we got, they were out of Bangor, Maine. Oh, okay. So we got all Patriot games. Yeah. So all Celtic games, like I never could stand the Celtics. I'm a Sixers fan. And, But then, so I thought my middle school at that time, Murph, we were the Patriots. So we were the Headville Patriots. So that made my choice for me. And I couldn't be labeled a bandwagon jumper because they were terrible. In 1980, the Pats were terrible. So I thought, you know what? I dig their uniforms. They're same school colors we are. Same nickname. I'm going to be a Patriot fan. Next thing you know, it's tattooed my back. And it's been, 40 years now, 40 years later. So incredible.
And now you got probably one of the penultimate Patriots merch collections out there, at this point, which is wild. And back in the 80s, I'm trying to think, was the Patriots logo like the guy with the hat, like in the 3-point stance? Was it that logo back then?
Yeah, Joe Patriot. Yeah,
that's right, Joe Patriot. See, I didn't even realize that was the name of their mascot there. Yeah, I used to have a hat like that.
Some people are still screaming to bring that logo back. Some people are still screaming for that. So
I mean, I think it's good as a throwback thing. Like if you want to do it a couple times, the Bills do their throwback helmets occasionally too. I think it's nice to kind of pay homage to history and kind of continue that tradition. But I mean, at the same time, the new one looks pretty good too. Yeah.
Sometimes it backfires too. Like,
Yeah.
let's face it, some of those uniforms that we've seen, like the Packers, and again, I'm not
Oh God, I
poor,
hate the
poor
Steelers
Steelers.
horizontal
Yeah,
stripes. I hate those. They're so bad. Why would you do horizontal
I
stripes?
love it when they wear them because I text
Yeah.
every fucking Steeler fan I know when they play and wear those jerseys.
Yeah, yeah. There's some horrendous ones. There's some horrendous jerseys out there. But apparently, I've been talking to some Steelers fans, and they tell me that those are like some of the most popular ones to buy. People in Pittsburgh seem to love those stripy ones. I don't know. It looks like yeah, some sort of a bizarro prison uniform from the past. I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird. But yeah. So one of the other things I wanted to ask you about. So obviously, as a Patriots fan, you were kind of like you said, you were through the bad years of the 80s, and then
Oh
you
yeah.
were kind of blessed by having the greatest player of all time come through your franchise and spend over a decade there. So what was it like to kind of see the entirety of Tom Brady's tenure with the Patriots? How did that feel after years of struggling with a bad team?
I mean, we just talked about this the other night, and this is an absolutely true story. And Tanya will support it 1,000%. Like, she talked me into liking Tom Brady. I mean, I was so taken back by Drew Bledsoe. I mean,
Yeah,
he turned our franchise around. We needed him so bad. After at this point would have been, I believe, 12 years as a fan, 13 years.
yeah,
We needed him so bad, and we drafted him, first overall. And he came through. A
yeah,
lot may not remember, but he came through. He took us to a a Super Bowl
yeah,
in '95. And some great seasons. Every year we had a chance
yeah,
to go to postseason. The Bills were very, very, very strong, as we all know, and the Dolphins as well back
yeah,
then. And but we were always in the conversation in the playoffs. And so when he went down to hands of the Jets, I was just I can remember what chair I was sitting in, and I was just flabbergasted. And that's when Tan and I were just dating.
yeah,
And I wasn't giving Brady no slack at all. Like, yeah, he was winning because it was his fifth or sixth game in a row. His fifth or sixth win in a row, and it was
yeah,
against Flutie in the Chargers. And
yeah,
that's when I became a believer. Okay, because the Chargers were really good that year, and
yeah,
they were Super Bowl talk. And they went to San Diego and beat them. I thought, well, maybe this kid might do all right. But
yeah,
the funny thing is, I always asked Hannah, have we ever had a boy or girl? Can their first name be Drew?
yeah,
After Drew Bledsoe,
yeah, yeah,
pull no punches. That's what's after. And she said, yeah, for sure. I'll go with that.
yeah,
So she said, boy or girl can be Drew. So then, like, after that conversation, Tom Brady comes on the scene.
yeah,
So I'm thinking, and I did
yeah.
ask her, I said, what about boy or girl Drew Brady? I got a nice ring to it. She said, no, you get the first name, and that's it.
Let's
So
go.
honestly, she had a rough labor. She was in labor for like 72 hours.
Oh
And it
wow.
was from a Friday night to a Sunday, and it was really, really tough. So they
Yeah,
they had to induce labor, and
yeah.
that practically put her out. And she was exhausted when she was done. This is
I
evil,
can't
but
imagine.
she laughs about it now.
Yeah,
And I'm in there with her in the scrubs, and actually the TV's on her in her hospital
yeah.
bedroom. I was watching the game. It was Jacksonville, New England,
Oh yeah.
and we beat Jacksonville 6-3. So I was
Yeah,
going back and forth, back and forth. So anyway,
yeah,
so the baby's born, and I'm just totally emotional. There's a shot of me in my
yeah,
scrubs, and just the tears running down my face. So I'm holding Drew, and hand to God, again, Tanya will support this 100%. The nurse, the stupid nurse, why would she ask me? She
yeah,
says, do you have any names picked out, or do you
yeah,
want
yeah,
time to wait? She's filling the paperwork out. And I said, no, we do. We have names picked out.
yeah,
It's Drew
yeah.
Brady Bolivar.
Oh
She
my
fucking wrote it
gosh,
down.
that's
And
hilarious.
I didn't even think, what kind of shit you're going to be in. And
That's
so poor Tanya,
amazing.
she's on the gurney there. She's just out. She's out exhausted, right?
Yeah,
And she said she sort of kind of remembers it, but not really.
yeah.
And then
Oh my
when she came
gosh.
to that, it would have been she slept the rest of that day. The next day
Yeah,
when she was a little more coherent, and then she
yeah,
was fine when she said it, especially if it was a boy. I
yeah,
probably wouldn't have done it if it was a girl. If it was a
yeah,
girl, I would have.
yeah. No
But if
kidding.
it was a boy, I'm going for it. So yeah, so yeah,
That's
Drew
amazing.
Brady Bolivar.
Oh my gosh! You can never question
Oh no,
Dekester's commitment to Patriots Nation. That's an incredible story actually,
yeah,
and honestly, not many people have that cool of a story of how their
yeah,
name came. So I'm sure Drew appreciates it too. Like that's
yeah.
a story for him to tell. That's an icebreaker right there.
Well, that's actually I got it for Christmas. Is on that wall back there as well, of my football memorabilia wall. They did a story on it in the local paper, and
No
put a
way.
picture of me holding Drew, and told the whole story, how it happened, and all my
That's
little
amazing.
things I do on game days. I'm a little
Yeah,
superstitious sometimes on game days, so they put that in the article too. So yeah,
yeah.
she gave it to me for Christmas on a
That
hardtack. So
that's awesome. And
yeah.
and, and speaking of superstition, what are some of your things that you kind of do or don't do on a game day?
the one that kind of cut this reporter's eye, I met him, through drafts and stuff, and he heard what I was doing, so he asked some more questions. And he said, and then he found out about Drew's name. He said, "Can we do a small story?" I said, "Sure."
Yeah.
But the one he heard of, and I just stopped doing it sort of this year.
Yeah.
Andy bought me a shirt the year that Brady came on the scene, that Bledsoe got hurt. And so it was a really comfortable shirt. It's a Reebok Patriots t-shirt. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So I wore it every game day. And then it started off that if we won, it didn't get washed.
Yeah.
Don't touch it. Leave it. Don't touch it. And we're talking like mid 2000s. There were some streaks on there. We had that one
16-0 season. That would have been
and it kept on going.
Yeah.
And even when we went one, when we lost one, it wasn't for a long time so this fucking shirt got pizza on it. It's got everything on it.
Oh god.
Most days now I get the boys back here drinking and stuff. So
yeah,
you couldn't believe it. This shirt wasn't getting washed for weeks. And then the topper was whenever we won the Super Bowl, which it's just mind blowing. How fortunate we've been with Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And no one deserves that. But even so, when we won the Super Bowl, that didn't get washed all off season. Don't you touch that shirt until the next season starts. So the shirt's in the Hall of Fame now. We're because it's pretty rough shape.
Yeah,
so
I can imagine.
We decided this year because Brady moved on, we're going to take that shirt. She got me a new shirt for Christmas. That's the new one moving forward. We do the same thing. We don't wash it. With this one here, we'll probably turn it into a pillow or something.
Yeah, it's a shame that the Patriots didn't win the Super Bowl in the last couple of years because I feel like maybe within all the bacteria sitting on that T-shirt, they might have been able to find the cure for COVID in there somewhere. That might be it. But yeah, that's actually incredible. That's incredible. I know Stoney, who sent the rating here earlier too. He's so much of a fan and so much of a superstitious guy that he refuses to watch the Vikings play. He always streams during their games, or at least he did in the past. I think he's gotten away from it too this year a little bit.
Tough. I couldn't do that. Holy, I gotta watch. Gee whiz.
Yeah, you have to. There's only 16 games. Like every game really is an event in the NFL, which I feel like the fanaticism is kind of spurred on by that.
Yeah.
It
really it's not a short season, but it is a short season. You know what I mean? Like it's
exactly.
You only play one game a week, and it's like look how fast it went this year. Like it's gone.
It's incredible.
First Sunday.
You
mentioned Murph. No football day. It's like, and here we go, and now it's this long and winding road.
Yeah.
Back to there's things that's going to tease us, like the draft and the combine. And that sort of thing, and that's when I start getting my feet wet with the CFL in June, July. That kind of helps a little bit, but it's it's going to be a while, but
yeah, for sure.
It is nice having Sundays back.
Yeah, that's true. It's like
you get things done, right?
What do we do? Yeah, we can get all kinds of other stuff done. So I feel like people are a lot more productive on Sundays now than they were during the NFL season. But at the same time, I think if we could say, oh yeah, the season's going to start right, next week, I think we'd all take it. We were ready for more football.
It's the best. Football on all day. A couple beer and some wagers.
Yeah,
to follow.
Absolutely.
Excuse me.
Yeah, no, that absolutely makes the weekend, kind of the perfect end to a weekend, and it's got their own day to themselves, which is great.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about kind of your everything, the background stuff here so far, but I want to get into how Twitch kind of became a part of your life and how you found out about Twitch in the first place and then decided to hit the go live button for the first time. Tell me how you stumbled across Twitch.
Well, Twitch was just, the advantages. I'm sure many in the chat can say, of having at that time, I guess he would have been 16 or 17-year-old son.
Yeah.
And he's watching this Twitch TV. And I always play video games. I always play Madden. I always have. Loved it. I mean, I think when we were building a house, there was one year there where I didn't get a console. It went from Sega Genesis to PlayStation, whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought, there's too many buttons on the controller. I'm done. And then Tanya got me one for Christmas, so I'm right back on again and found out it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I was always playing video games. I'm watching, and he was big into Fortnite. He was quite good at it as well. So I'm like, what's this? And so he was telling me, and it's it's an app on your phone, or he said you can watch it on the computer and stuff. So I made an account.
Yeah.
And started finding people like I think the first one I found was Popular Stranger.
Yeah.
And then Swain Games and didn't drift around too much. And they're like the amount of streamers now, Murph, compared to then, it's a lot more.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot. And that's a good thing, right? Variety is always good.
For sure.
But and then we were talking, and Drew's the one that kind of challenged me. He said, "Why don't you do that?" And he said, "You're playing the game anyways." He said, "You like people, you like to talk." And I said, "I don't know." I said, "Maybe someday." He said, "Maybe someday."
Yeah.
And then Christmas 2020, right for Christmas 2019.
Yeah.
Right pre-COVID. For Christmas, Tanya and Drew got me a microphone and a camera.
Yeah.
And he had a card, and the card so much said, you need to do this. You need to give it a try. You'll never know. So
Yeah.
that's what I did.
That's
And I
incredible.
can remember like some of the kids I coached and him were helping me get set up with the software and stuff. And
Yeah.
like I would go on and no one give a shit if I was on. I was
Oh
on just
yeah.
trying to test up, and I had to have music.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
to have music. I love music, Murph. And I
Yeah.
know
For
you
sure.
do too. I know that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I
Absolutely.
was getting in to make sure they could hear the music and the song requests were working. And the very first song requested on Boomer Society was oh shit. Who's the one that he sang? It starts off
Wait, which one? I
the
lost it
rap
there. I couldn't hear
song.
the mic.
The rap song. Oh my gosh.
Oh shoot. Who knows,
I
guys?
can't.
Who's one of the people? Who's one of the day ones from
Oh
Deke's
my gosh. Yeah.
community here? This is gonna Chris Cornell? Was it Chris
No,
Cornell?
no. It was a rapper.
A rapper.
The Box. No,
Snow?
Box.
Informer?
It
By
was
Snow?
really no. It was really big 2 years ago. It was a real big rap song. Roddy Rich.
Oh yeah, that sounds right. See, Deke, the problem with me is I don't know any rap music from the last 12
Yeah,
years. I've followed.
Roddy Rich.
Yeah, yeah,
Look
yeah,
at who it was. Anyways, one of the
yeah, yeah,
boys requested that song. So that was the first song. The Box.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Mamushi,
Oh,
thank you
let's
very
go,
much. That's
Mamushi.
it.
Well done.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that
Oh,
was the
that's
first
incredible.
that rap song. I think it was number one at the time too. The kids
Yeah,
all loved it because
yeah.
that's not as coaching basketball, and every game that'd be in someone's warm ups. Like I'm so fucking tired.
Yeah, that's hilarious. And you know,
We had Cool and the Gang and Diana Ross, and we warmed up. Now they're playing this stuff.
yeah, that's the song requests are something that you have to have a very discerning chat to be able to do them. I used to do song requests, and then I think the average age of my chat, they'd put all these troll songs in there, these Trace McSorley songs, and all these other like memes. So I haven't been able to do them in my chat for a while. Every time I bring them back, I instantly 30 minutes in, I already regret it with some of the stuff that gets requested. But you have
Yeah,
incredible music on your
it's crazy. It's an absolute privilege because I mean they're always on. They're
yeah,
very rarely that they're not on, and it's just I mean sometimes we get a new follower pop in, and I don't just make it for the subs.
yeah,
The followers can pay 100 channel points about an
yeah,
hour
yeah,
watching, right?
yeah,
They
yeah,
can put a song in. My mods will help them, and
yeah,
once in a while they'll put a song in doesn't fit in, and you know what? We just sorry man, this just doesn't fit here. We're gonna
yeah,
skip this bad boy.
yeah.
and,
Exactly,
but
exactly.
not very often. There's some guys and gals that jump in there and just
Yeah.
just chill stuff. Doesn't have to be from 1970. Just be chill stuff. Like there's all kinds of good new songs now, but
Yeah, and talk to me about Jukebox Hero as well. So how did that bracket kind of set up come around? When did you decide to kind of do the tournaments? The themed tournaments of
well,
picking songs.
that was really too. So like when I started streaming, didn't take very long to get affiliate because I was just blessed
Yeah.
by support from like from Swing Games and stuff, or
Mm-hmm.
Raid and stuff. Anyway, so again, always liked music and wanted to have that Friday night party environment. We just started it one night using song dot emotes. I said,
Yeah.
hey, here's what we're gonna do. I think we had like 10 or 20 in the chat. Here's what we're gonna do. Request a song, and if you like it, put a dot in there, and I'll count the dots, and then we'll vote for them in the end. And then it moved to we found a bracket online we could use, and just kept
Yeah.
growing. And it's kind of sort of people still look forward to it when we do it,
Yeah.
but it's lost a little bit of. It needs to be reinvented, and that's what
Yeah.
we're working on right now.
Yeah.
Murph. Try and reinvent it, make it a little bit different, but the same, if you
Yeah.
will,
Yeah.
and
Of
because
course.
people still enjoy it, and people are proud. Like we have a couple of big time winners, like JG 603. He's won 12 times.
Oh yeah.
LBJ's won like 9 or 10 times.
Yeah.
So those two got to have like a showdown. I think one of these
I
nights, like a
like
real
that.
have a
Yeah.
showdown, and people have won 3 and 4 times, and you get a free wheel spin and you win. So it's all fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think,
Yeah.
one thing that you kind of said there, just kind of in passing was, that you can tell that it needs to be reinvented. And that's something that,
Yeah.
that's always the challenge. I think that's what makes a great streamer great is it's easy to kind of find one thing that works and just stick with that recipe and just continue following that path forever
Yeah.
and hoping that it'll continue to work. But I think what makes a great streamer is realizing when stuff needs to be updated and switched up. So kudos to you for kind of making that executive choice. But it's not easy too at the same time to be
No,
to
it's
be
not.
creative.
You know that, Murph. Yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
takes a
like
lot of thought.
I do a thing. I constantly rotate my emotes out. Like,
Yeah,
like I see the Red Friday ones are still in there. I gotta get those out and put the regular ones
yeah,
in. So,
yeah,
stuff like that. But you know 100%, Murph, and I think a lot of people do realize it's extremely hard to, when you have an IRL job
yeah,
and when you have IRL responsibilities and you're streaming too. It's tough. It's very,
yeah,
very tough. And I think some people get into the game and they don't realize that, and they don't know when it's time to take a break.
yeah. For
and
sure.
and they and when it's too late, it's not good. When it's too late, it's not good
Yeah.
because things can be dark then, and
Absolutely.
things can be already
Hmm.
done and already said, with you and your partner or you and
Yeah.
whatever, that
For
you got to
sure.
recognize when it's time to step back. No one's going to leave you. No one's going to go away.
Yeah.
If they were there when you left, they'll be there when you come back. I mean, and that's
For
a
sure.
blessing. The communities we have, but
Yeah.
like
Absolutely.
and I'm sure you know too. Like you're in a teaching industry
Yeah.
where most days are probably super fantastic.
Yeah.
Some days probably aren't, and
Yeah.
you don't always feel like hopping on stream.
Yeah.
Those days
100%.
and doing it, and
Yeah.
it can be tough.
Well, and yet I find too, even the best days, like sometimes last week we had Valentine's Day on Monday, the 100th day of school on Wednesday, which like in kindergarten, the 100th day of school is a big deal because it's a big number. So they get excited. We do a party for that. But like those are probably two of the funnest days of the year. They're also probably two of the days that I was most exhausted when I went home
Right.
because that high energy level is there the whole day. So
Yeah.
it definitely is a challenge. And that's something that I'm trying to do, be more cognizant of is actually taking scheduled days off every once in a while. There's a long time I was doing 6-7 days a week, and it really doesn't leave a lot of time to
Yeah.
spend time with my wife to focus on
Yeah.
other stuff. It kind of can become all consuming. So definitely some good advice
Yeah.
for anybody who's an upcoming streamer in the community for sure. And Deke, you mentioned Red Friday too. That's another really cool thing that you do on your channel. Could you tell
Oh
us a
yeah.
little bit
Yeah.
about what that is and what that represents?
So like I've always been really sensitive to the veterans and stuff because like my and I'm one of millions, right? My grandfather served in World War II, and I
Mm-hmm.
know many did, and it's all part of our freedom, right? And I feel
Yeah,
very strongly for that, and always made sure that my sports teams, I couldn't take them all, but took one out to the cenotaph, to the Remembrance Day ceremonies, and we always
yeah,
made sure we went to that. Drew, and then we weren't coaching, and we didn't go as a family. Then the rule was that we had to watch a fact-based, movie on the war
yeah,
on Remembrance Day together as a family, and
yeah,
that sort of thing. So I've always been serious about that. And then in working and my team at work, in HR, one of the guys, one of my mentors, he always wore a red shirt on Fridays because of Red Friday,
yeah,
and I didn't even know it was a thing. And then
yeah,
he told me about it, and I started looking into it, and it's a legit thing.
yeah,
And so I started doing a long form streaming and just kept it going on the streaming. Like,
yeah,
if I wore a red shirt or a red hoodie, and then I was blessed, probably wasn't, I guess I had about 6-7 months in, and Devil Dog, who's a community legend,
yes, he is.
Fourth Corps Devil Dog, just one day reached out to me. He said, "Are you comfortable sending me your address?" And it's like,
Yeah,
holy smokes! I mean, this guy is a U.S. Marine. Of course, I'm
yeah,
comfortable. so,
yeah. Him and his
so I
buddies are
said,
gonna show up.
I sent him my address, and next thing you know, I get an actual Red Friday shirt in the mail from him, and
That's
still got to
awesome.
this day, and I still do wear it, and yeah, and then Tan got one for Christmas too this year to wear it, kind of mix it up.
Wow.
So yeah, and then I see other streams popping up, and I know it's not, I'm not saying it's something that I started at all, not
Yeah,
because of me, but just that idea being out there. Some other streams popped up, and I think it's fantastic, and I love it. I see
yeah,
someone put red in JG chat the other day, and it all come
yeah,
up about thanking the vets. I thought that's fantastic. I mean,
yeah.
really love that. Yeah,
That's awesome. That's incredible. And it's
yeah,
something that I've kind of become aware of a lot more through Twitch because probably 90% of the people that are in my chat, maybe probably more than that, are from the U.S. And
hmm
the U.S. has a very deep rooted culture of respecting their veterans, and they have a very large military too. So a lot of people have served
yeah,
in the states. So it kind of has made me realize a lot of the people that I'm interacting with on here have some sort of a background or some
yeah,
time that
yeah.
they've spent in the military. So I've definitely become appreciative, and obviously want to respect all the people who are out there protecting us and keeping us safe, whether it's the Canadians or the Americans. Like we're kind of
hmm
heavily reliant on those people to keep us and our freedom intact for sure. So definitely a noble cause on your part,
Yeah.
Deke.
I
Um,
get I get pretty pissy at work because my mentor since retired, and he got a pretty good grasp on our team, making sure we all wore red, and once in a while you
yeah,
forget whatever.
yeah,
And it seemed like when he left, it kind of got a little slack ass. And so when
yeah,
we started our morning meetings, I made no bones about it. Like, I asked, "Where the fuck's the red shirt?" "Oh
yeah,
man, I forgot." Well, you know what?
yeah,
They didn't get to fucking fight in those trenches for us, 100
yeah,
years ago. So it's
yeah.
like I get
Hundred
ugly, but
percent. You
put it out the
yeah.
night for and wear it the next day. Fuck.
Yeah. Hey, Devil Dog's
Like,
loving that right now.
yeah.
Someone's got to stand up for it for sure. And
I
it's
mean, especially like I understand not everyone can wear red every day, but we're like,
yeah.
we're an HR team, we're in a
Yeah.
facility where employees see it. It looks good, it looks good.
Yeah.
Why do you wear red? We wear red because of Red Friday.
Yeah, 100%. And it takes it takes some stones to be the person who has to stand up and say it, but I think it's it's a good cause for sure. It's good to get heated about certain things when they're important, 100%. Deke, one of the other things I wanted to ask about is, I've got your Boomer Society logo up here on the stream. When did that come around? Was that from the initial stream? Did you already have Boomer Society in your mind
No,
or did it kind of come up organically?
nothing at all. It just come up organically. And we were in a stream one Friday night, and someone subbed, and then that whole spiel just come out through after a couple of beer. The whole Welcome to Boomer Society, and just took on a thing of its own. And because really, like technically, I think I'm 2 years away from a Boomer. So I'm actually Gen X. I mean, I'm 2 years too late for a Boomer. 2 years, 2 years too late for a Boomer.
Yeah.
So really Gen X. But you know what? It's we get the okay Boomer emotes, and we have fun with it and stuff because it's at the end of the day. We always joke and say that Boomer's more of a mentality than it is an actual date, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like my parents are legitimate baby boomers. That's my
right.
I'm 33 years old. But I tell people all the time that I consider myself a boomer in Twitch years, because you look at the average age of people on Twitch, and it's probably caters a lot more to the younger Fortnite demographic. Although Twitch has been around for quite a while now, where all of the chats that I watch, primarily are people that are a little bit older in my kind of demographic. So it's kind of interesting. Like Twitch is it's such an interesting clash of like generations and cultures. That's what makes it kind of cool, I think.
We found that out last night. I was hanging out with Iron Manny in his stream, and he has a bunch on in Discord, and we have a few cocktails, and we were talking about being in school.
Yeah.
And what it was like and stuff, and graduating, and someone asked a question, Deke, what year did you graduate? And I didn't know this person very well, so I don't know if he knew how old it was.
Yeah.
And I said I graduated in 1985. Damn. He said, I was born in 1985. He said, shit, and I'm old.
That's true. I was gonna say,
what the fuck you think I am?
That's hilarious. Honestly, it's true though. Like I was gonna say, like born in 1985. A lot of people like when I say that I'm 33, they're like, "Oh my god, you're like, what the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, "Come on, man, 33 is not old. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" And I think it's great, like that. Because I think that everybody brings a different set of experiences to Twitch too. I think it could get really stale if it was a bunch of 14-year-olds playing Fortnite on here and that was it. And by the time you're 17, you retire and then you go on and do other stuff. I think the range of experience is what makes Twitch really cool, and there's something for everybody out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like you said, like when you started out, you were watching Pop Stranger and Swain Games, and you kind of found out what you enjoyed to watch, and obviously having a loyal community like you have too, like. There's a whole bunch of people that I was saying this to my wife, and I can't remember who else I was saying this to. We were talking about your stream, Deke, and I was like, I can guarantee you that there's probably a lot of people in Deke's stream that he might be the one stream a week that they boot up for. You know what I mean? Like when you go live, you might be the one streamer they watch, and I get that sense about you that you got something really special going on over there. That people are actually, it's appointment television when you go live for some guys. I
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I don't deserve the fun we have, but I'm definitely appreciative of it.
Yeah.
And it really showed. It really did. It was very emotional when I came back. After Christmas, and it was a fantastic stream. And people aren't going to go anywhere because you become friends, and we even stopped using the fucking term in our stream.
Yeah.
IRL friend. I stopped saying that when I talk. I got an IRL friend. I just it's a friend. It's a friend here, and it's a friend on Twitch I have because there's been relationships there's and Murph, you're living there as well. And 100%. There's messages going back and forth. There's tweets going back and forth. What's going on in your life, and you're damn concerned, and actually you're damn happy too when something happens good. So
exactly, 100%.
So it becomes a very strong community, and whatever happens down the road, whatever happens, the only thing that matters to me is just that the community's like this. Just laid back. We have fun. We know each other, and it is so great to be up here. And when there's something going on, good, bad, or indifferent, whatever. When something's going on, and you can talk to a person right there in that state or in that province, and get their opinion on it. That is really neat, Or in sports, even when you hear, something about a team, and you talk about a fan of that team that's in that city, that will bleed purple and gold because they're. I'm not saying that you're not in Minnesota, you're not a Minnesota fan. I'm not saying that, Murphy. I know you're a Gjallarhorn fan too, but when they can get a sense for the city and how the city feels about the issue going on. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's really,
broadened.
really interesting. We're blessed.
For sure, and it really can broaden your worldview too. Like it's true. I've
Oh,
met so many people that I might not ever have a forum or a way to interact with these people. Like even just I get to travel to the States a couple times a year, and
yeah,
well, at least before COVID, I was able to, and I really enjoyed that, and I always had great experiences in whatever city I would go to. When I'd travel, do a bigger vacation, maybe to Europe or something, and meet people there. But now it's like, I have people coming in from Germany to check out the stream. You have people coming in from New Zealand. It's like it's wild, and I love what you said, because first of all, the term IRL, I didn't even know what that meant. When people were saying my IRL friends, I had no idea. I've never used that. I still feel weird saying it but sometimes people want to know, okay, this is one of my IRL friends. This is somebody
yeah,
I knew before Twitch. The
yeah.
other day during the Super Bowl, I was planning on going for a cottage weekend with some of my buddies from college, but I just couldn't take the Monday off, and I didn't have a car to get up there. So, they were up at the cottage, and I was streaming on a Friday night, and they came into the stream, and they were on my one friend who has a Twitch account, and they were talking to me, and I was like, these are my IRL friends. But you're right, like the people that you meet on Twitch, I talk to a lot of people on Twitch every single day. I'm well apprised of what they're doing, and it's interesting. Like there's guys like Luch and Luch, who's in his 20s, and then there's GoGeezy, who's like 19. I talk to GoGeezy almost every day, and I consider him a really good friend. Something that outside of this Twitch community would not really be possible. Like I'm not going to meet some kid who's in his first year of college, just walking around the streets of Toronto. But it really is kind of cool, like just the nature of the relationships you can have
Oh,
on
yeah,
here,
yeah.
and very rewarding stuff for sure.
Like the friends I have in real life, they don't even get this.
Yeah,
They don't even get it. They don't. They know I
yeah,
do it. They don't get
yeah.
it.
No,
And I'm fine with
100%.
that. They
Yeah,
don't. I mean, they didn't play video games either. Like because I'm still very close. Like my best friend and stuff, and other friends. We went to school together, went to high school together. We played sports together, and we're
yeah,
still very close. And our wives are close.
yeah,
And but even back then, they didn't play video games. They didn't
yeah,
get that back then either. They didn't
yeah.
understand why I was playing video games. But
Yeah. No, it's true. Like some people are like that. Like I know a lot of my
yeah,
it's funny because I wasn't even really a kid who played a lot of video games personally. Like I wasn't. I didn't really have any new consoles growing up. I played a little bit in high school at friends' houses.
hmm
During college, I don't think I played video games at all. Like we might play a little bit of split screen Call of Duty or something, but that was it. And it was really like kind of once you get into the 9 to 5 grind where you need that kind of escape and that
right,
decompression of playing
yeah,
video games, that it
yeah,
actually became much more valuable to me to sit down and play
yeah,
Madden. So,
yeah,
yeah, absolutely kind of an interesting observation. But it's true. Like my parents come over every couple of weeks. They live just outside Toronto, so they're like maybe a 30-minute drive away. And I tell them, they ask about Twitch now. Like they ask about, especially my podcast. They're interested in that because podcast is something they
yeah.
know. Twitch they don't get. Podcast they get a little bit. And the other day I had someone in my chat, Mama Murphy, come in. I was like, oh, did my mom finally make a Twitch account and pop into my chat? And sure enough, it was just a different Mama Murphy. It was not my mom. I found that out very quickly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
well, one day though, I'm
I,
sure my parents will make the transition and get in here.
yeah, that's one thing that I've always found extremely, extremely tough. And Tanya's the one that brought it up. I never gave much thought,
Hmm.
but Tanya's the one that brought it up. And she said, something I was thinking. This is a long time ago. She said, I know. She said, your mom would have really enjoyed this. She said she
Yeah.
would have sat and watched everyone here streams.
Yeah.
And it's tough
Absolutely.
because she never got a chance because she passed away for,
Yeah.
she didn't pass away till I was streaming, but she had Alzheimer's very bad. So I
Yeah.
mean, no idea what was happening in my
Yeah.
life. So
For sure.
but yeah, it's neat. And I do have some, like my in-laws do pop in from time to
Yeah.
time and watch, and that's kind of neat. So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah, my in-laws too will pop in. My
yeah,
sister-in-law, her boyfriend. I know my mother-in-law has followed me on YouTube. I don't know if she's watched any of my stuff yet, but they're very supportive of it, and they kind of get it too. Like
hmm
they'll tune in. Like apparently they'll throw me up on the big screen if they want to have a laugh or something. And I think that's really
right,
cool. Like I think that's
yeah,
really
yeah,
flattering that they would want to
yeah,
just spend more time, whether it's virtual or in person.
yeah,
But Deke, like you've built this incredible community over there. You're kind of continuing to reinvent, the way that the stream goes. Kind of made a big return after Christmas time. What are your visions like? Even like for the near future or down the road? Like is Twitch part of that 5-year plan that you have? Is this something you
Oh
can
yeah,
see
it,
yourself doing
it
for a
is
long
for
time?
sure. It definitely is. And of course I did do a plan before I came back, and I actually did a PowerPoint for the family to show them what's going to take place.
Yeah, amazing.
But it's my only plan is I want to be more. regular with my streams for the community. They deserve that, and you know, I want them to have that. You know, doesn't matter what they follow, they sub, whatever, they give biddies. It's, you know what, they deserve that regularity. So, you know, I'm privileged enough they want to come and watch this fucking jackass. So I want to make sure that, and I think the number 3 is good for me. You know, during the week with the hours I keep and stuff. So three streams a week, and Friday's always long. Friday's always 5 or 6 hours long. So it's a longer stream, and. But so keep on and just, you know, keep on growing. I have no aspirations of chasing the partnership, and absolutely nothing towards anyone who has and has been successful and got it. It's nothing to do with that. It's just that I'm not convinced yet of the bang for the buck, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So I rather put my time into chasing, making better emotes, you know, making better content, you know, like things to do for my viewers, and like content. Like we just took marbles to the next level. We made marbles a yearly thing now. So not only do you play marbles for the week and you can win at the end of the week and win some wheel spins on Friday, we're going to do your top 10 now, move on for the month, and they have a little wheel spin too at the end in a race, and then for the year we're going to do a little fun thing. So
that's awesome.
So now and now we spin the wheel, and you're really trying to catch letters to spell merchandise. So you can spell mug, or spell shirt, or spell hoodie. So it should be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun.
That's incredible, man. That stuff is inspiring to me. Like just hearing these ideas that like I would have no idea, like probably when you started streaming you had no idea that you were going to be coming up with all this creative stuff, and it just
no.
But it's inspiring. Like it really is. Streaming is so much fun. Like I'd say that to anybody who's watching. It's so much fun.
To this day, I still get overwhelmed when all of a sudden I'll see I get an email from Streamlabs that I got a check coming from merchandise. It's like it's humbling, you know. Someone actually bought a hoodie with your fucking logo on it or your face on. It's like it's just amazingly humble, and you know, I'll forever be appreciative of that. So his 5-year plan moves on to retirement. The streaming is definitely in that, and keep on going and trying to every day just trying to make it better and keep the following, you know, where it's at, and a great group of people, and kind of build on that. So more great people, you know, like yourself and stuff, and people in your community. I mean, your community, Murph, come on, man!
Incredible.
Like,
very lucky.
You are growing a beautiful community here as well, man. All the time. I love your streams, and just what you do is just genuine, and it comes across as genuine. So I mean, I'm very excited for you as well, my guy.
Thanks so much, Dexter. I really do feel the support, and I appreciate the heck out of you for saying all those kind words. And you know, one thing that I'm noticing, guys, and it's not something that I try to lead questions to a certain point. You know, I do always ask about future goals, obviously for all of my guests, because I think that's what a lot of people want to know, you know, down the road what you're expecting. But you know, one thing that a lot of guests, and a lot of guests with partner check marks too, like Dubby said this, Ragusa said this. Honestly, like a lot of the guests lately, especially CJ Sauce was saying this, that that partner check mark and stuff like numbers, you know, the measurables, analytics, all that stuff, they said it leaves them feeling pretty empty. Like really, you know, a number on a page or on a graph doesn't mean much, but the interactions you have with chat, the fun stuff you can do for your community, and the memories that you guys can kind of create, that's where the real value is. So obviously, you know, I hope for you that organically, like a partnership thing can happen. You know, I hope, you know, at some point for me, but it's not that important. Like if you just keep doing your thing and you're having fun doing it.
No, it's not. Yeah. And I absolutely sincere congratulations to anyone who's achieved this, you know, whenever. It's hard fucking work. But I'm telling you right now, you got to be a certain individual to make sure that if it doesn't work out for you, that doesn't weigh on you. And I think it weighs on some. I think it eats at some people to the point where it shows on stream. And I worry about them inside. You know, I worry about them when they're not in stream, because it's bothering that much on stream. How much is it bothering when they walk away? I mean, and some people are built that way. I mean, some people are, you know, it's just like I call it the, you know, why not me mentality. Like, you know, why not me? It's nothing to do with them. It's nothing to do with him. It just works out some. We have no way of knowing what goes through the fucking great minds of Twitch and what they decide. I mean, we have no way. And the same as we talk about EA and what they put it. We got no way. Except I know one thing. They got Steve Young and fucking Joe Montana mixed up.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my God, I know. What 91
and I thank
speed.
him for that, because I can never use Steve because he's left-handed.
Yeah, exactly. Same
that's the biggest thing. And I don't want that. I don't want that to be driving and pushing and, you know, and constant communications, get everyone in there just to get that fucking check mark, and then have them get back and say, not this time, sir. Thank you. It's like, no, listen, tell you what. You know, how you doing? Keep the fucking moving. I'll always do my thing. I don't need a check mark, and at the end of the day, I'm fine. and you're fine.
Exactly.
We're good. So
Yeah. Well, you heard that, guys. Honestly, it's like, you could spend time, worrying about numbers and letting it weigh on you, or you could spend time competing against yourself and saying, this is what my stream. I think it's valuable to look back. I mean, I delete all my VODs.
I do.
Yeah, but like look
I
back on
do.
your first stream ever, what it looks like. Look at your stream now. Look at how you did stuff, and it's like that's the real victory of Twitch is like how much you can learn. Like I'm learning so much through doing Twitch. It's just it's incredible. I've learned more now than I probably did in 4 years of college. I don't know what that says about the college I went to, but it's incredible.
Well, I had to do some hard thinking at the end of the year, Murph, and one thing I remembered, and I thought, I got so excited the first time I hit 20 viewers. I mean, I was giddy as a fucking 12-year-old schoolgirl with a sock out.
Yeah.
And and it's so easy to forget that. Mm-hmm. And then when you're having like a week of 20 in your stream, it's like, what am I doing wrong? What's happening? Like, fuck off, man.
Yeah.
You still had 20 people in your stream. You still had 10
Exactly.
people in your stream. You had 5 people in your stream. Fuck,
Yeah.
I don't care if you got one person watching you. There's someone there is watching you because they want to.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's all relevant. It's all relevant.
It really is. That's great advice. And anybody out there, you try to find those little victories, those little inspirations that kind of make every stream a victory. It doesn't have to be your best stream of all time numbers.
No, right. And I mean, who wouldn't love playing a video game and sitting with a friend, while you're playing it and talking?
Exactly.
And if you got one person in your chat, that's what you got.
Exactly.
You got a friend there while you're playing the game you can talk with. Then at the end of the day, it's all you need to be successful.
100%. And Deke, I feel like that's kind of like the perfect kind of summary of what we talked about, and I feel like we got to have a great look at your life out on the East Coast. You shared generously a little bit about your family life too, which I really appreciated. I had one question before I finished doing this send off here. Do you remember, because the pumpkin is coming back into my head now, do you remember the weight of the number one pumpkin? 700-pound pumpkin. What the heck did
squash.
Number one weigh? Squash, okay.
It was squash. So I grew 769 or 789, one or the other.
Yeah.
And the winner for the squash that year was like 817.
Oh my god!
But for the pumpkin that year was 1,021, and it was my buddy.
So, oh my god!
Like we had quite a growing
I
don't know, community down here on So Shore.
Yeah.
And we would travel, like it was a convoy, and we got videos of it, even though it was back in the day.
Yeah.
We got videos of us leaving, heading out of town, and arriving in Kenville with all our trucks and all these giant fucking gourds on the back. I mean, they're huge, and I'll show some pictures on stream sometime, because it is pretty neat.
Please, I would love to see
that. It was a huge hobby back in the day. It's still a hobby, but it's not quite as huge as it was back in the late 90s and 2000s. But
that'll make quite a jack-o'-lantern out of that thing come Halloween time. That's incredible.
Yeah, I know it's really big in Ontario too.
Yeah, it's kind of like the nostalgia factor for me. Like my dad grew up in a small town called Caledonia, just outside of Hamilton, Ontario, which is there's a couple NHL players that come from there, even though it's really tiny. And we used to always go to the Caledonia Fair, which I think is one of the longest running fall fairs in all of Canada. So that was like one of my, my grandmother and grandfather both since passed, but we used to always go up to the old, every couple of weeks visit them, and we go in the fall. There's like a demolition derby. There's like the carnival. They have the toffee pull. They got the little stage with local acts performing, and it was so much fun. But then they get the livestock where you walk through and you look at all the chickens and all the cows and stuff, and the prize pigs, and then they have like the big indoor arena which gets converted into like all the prize winning pumpkins and stuff. But I'm just saying, I don't think I ever saw anything close to 800 pounds. I think like the prize winning one out there was like 400. So it must be something in the east. It must be something in the ocean currents out there maybe that create that.
Yeah, there is. I will say one thing was hilarious. They even did a thing on CBC, which is our national television thing, on Howard Dill and his success. And they went to his farm, and oh my gosh, Howard. So they asked him what the big secret was, and he said, "All I can tell you," he said, "is milk." So that went fucking crazy. So there was all kinds of people injecting milk. They were watering their fucking milk. And he was just pulling their fucking legs.
That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, he told me that having a drink of rum in his back room, and he said, "Yeah, that whole thing was." So I asked him, I said, "But all you said was milk. What did you mean milk?" He said, "Nothing." And they were busy, and even locally, there's people fucking pouring milk all around their plants, on their plants.
That's hilarious. And it would absolutely reek in the on a sunny day, I bet. Too.
Oh
That's
my
hilarious.
gosh, yeah.
Oh my
all because
God,
he said it. It's amazing.
Deeg, I hope that we can, sometime get together and collaborate on some, another podcast, because I feel like you probably have,
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah.
I feel like you've got stories that could fill a set of encyclopedias, to be honest, and I'd love to pick your brain again. But
Yeah.
Deeg, thank you so much for coming through, sharing a bit about
Thank
you and
you,
your
Murph.
community.
Appreciate you so much.
And
Appreciate you
man,
so much.
yeah, this is definitely a little bucket list moment for me, being able to sit down and talk with you, man.
Thank you,
So
Murph.
thank
Me
you,
too.
Deeg.
It's so I'm so fortunate to be part of your community and support, because I just love watching what you're doing and how fast you're growing. It's just fantastic, and I wish you nothing but even more success. And I know, man, you're one of the busiest men in show business with your
I
job and with your
appreciate that.
family. You're very family orientated, and I know
Yeah,
you take family trips to the cottage country,
yeah,
but you're
absolutely.
always reinventing yourself. You're always making things the next step on your stream, and I often think quite a lot about how busy you are. I
Oh,
think,
I
man,
appreciate that, Deke.
love it, love it.
You're a very empathetic dude. I feel like a lot of people only see the stuff that goes on on screen, but you truly understand. And I know it's because you put
Yeah.
so much into your own work that you truly understand how much goes into it, man. I really do
Oh,
appreciate
yeah.
you.